The world is changing. The pace of this change is unprecedented, driven by rapid advancements in technology, shifts in economic power, and evolving geopolitical landscapes. Nations are re-evaluating their positions on the global stage, and alliances are being tested like never before. For decades, the United States has been the dominant global power. Its influence has shaped international norms, economic policies, and security frameworks. The American dream has been a beacon for many, symbolizing freedom, democracy, and opportunity. But now, a new player has emerged: China. With its vast population and strategic vision, China is positioning itself as a formidable contender on the world stage. Its rise is not just an economic phenomenon but a comprehensive transformation that encompasses military, technological, and cultural dimensions. China's economy has grown rapidly. From manufacturing to services, from infrastructure to innovation, China has made significant strides. Cities like Shanghai and Shenzhen are now synonymous with modernity and progress, showcasing the nation's ambition and capability. It has become a technological powerhouse. Chinese companies are at the forefront of advancements in artificial intelligence, telecommunications, and green energy. The tech hubs in cities like Shenzhen are buzzing with activity, driving the next wave of global innovation. And it is asserting its military might. The modernization of China's armed forces and its strategic maneuvers in regions like the South China Sea signal its intent to protect its interests and expand its influence. This military buildup is a clear message to the world. China is ready to defend its position. This has led to a rivalry between the US and China. Diplomatic engagements are often tense, with both nations vying for strategic advantages. The handshake between leaders is more than a gesture. It's a complex dance of power, negotiation, and mutual suspicion. It's a rivalry that is shaping the world. The economic policies of these two giants influence global markets, trade routes, and investment flows. The competition is not just about who leads, but about setting the rules for the future global order. It's a rivalry that will determine the future. The decisions made today by the US and China will have long-lasting impacts on generations to come. From climate change to space exploration, their actions will shape the possibilities and challenges of tomorrow. From trade wars to technological competition, the stakes are high. Tariffs, sanctions, and trade agreements are tools in this economic battle, affecting industries and consumers worldwide. The race for technological supremacy is equally fierce, with both nations investing heavily in research and development. From military maneuvers to cultural influence, the rivalry extends beyond economics. Military drills and strategic alliances are part of the power play, while cultural exchanges and soft power initiatives aim to win hearts and minds across the globe. The US and China are locked in a battle for global influence. International forums, trade organizations, and bilateral agreements are arenas where this competition plays out. Each nation seeks to rally allies and build coalitions to support its vision of the future. This rivalry is not just about power, it's about ideas. The US promotes democracy and individual freedoms, while China advocates for a model of governance that emphasizes stability and collective progress. These contrasting ideologies are at the heart of the global debate. The US promotes democracy and a free market economy. Its institutions and values have inspired many around the world, fostering an environment where innovation and entrepreneurship can thrive. China champions its own model of authoritarian capitalism. This approach has delivered rapid economic growth and lifted millions out of poverty, but it also raises questions about human rights and individual freedoms. The clash between these two systems has implications for everyone on the planet. The choices made by the US and China will influence global governance, economic stability, and the collective ability to address global challenges like climate change and pandemics. In this new world order, the stakes are high. The balance of power is delicate, and the outcomes of this rivalry will shape the geopolitical landscape for decades to come. Every diplomatic move, every economic policy, and every technological breakthrough is a piece of the larger puzzle. Understanding the dynamics of the US-China rivalry is crucial for navigating the complexities of the 21st century. As global citizens, staying informed and engaged is essential. The future is being written now, and its authors are the leaders, policymakers, and people of these two great nations. The US and China are economic giants. They are the world's two largest economies. Their rivalry is most visible in the economic realm. One key battleground is trade. In recent years, the US and China have been engaged in a trade war. They have imposed tariffs on each other's goods. This has hurt businesses and consumers on both sides. Another area of competition is infrastructure. China has launched its ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. This project aims to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa through a network of roads, railways, and ports. This has raised concerns in the US and other countries about China's growing influence. The economic rivalry between the US and China is complex. There are no easy answers. But one thing is clear, the outcome of this competition will have a profound impact on the global economy. Technology is another key area of competition. In today's world, technological advancements are not just about innovation but also about power and influence on the global stage. The race to dominate in technology is a race to shape the future. The US and China are vying for dominance in cutting-edge technologies. This competition spans various sectors, from telecommunications to artificial intelligence, and even quantum computing. Each nation is investing heavily to outpace the other, knowing that technological superiority can translate into economic and military advantages. One example is 5G wireless technology. This next-generation network promises faster speeds, lower latency, and the ability to connect a vast number of devices simultaneously. It's not just about faster internet, it's about enabling the Internet of Things, smart cities, and autonomous vehicles. 5G promises to revolutionize the way we live and work. Imagine a world where your car drives itself, your home adjusts to your preferences automatically, and your doctor can monitor your health in real time from miles away. This is the potential of 5G technology. China has made significant strides in developing and deploying 5G networks. With state-backed initiatives and substantial investments, China aims to lead the world in 5G technology. Its rapid deployment of 5G infrastructure is a testament to its commitment to this goal. This has raised concerns in the US about falling behind in this critical area. American policymakers are worried that lagging in 5G could have severe implications for national security and economic competitiveness. The US is now scrambling to catch up, with both government and private sector efforts ramping up. Another area of technological competition is semiconductors. These tiny chips are the brains behind all modern electronics, from smartphones to supercomputers. They are essential for the functioning of virtually every electronic device we use today. Semiconductors are essential components of electronic devices. Without them, our modern digital world would come to a standstill. They are the foundation upon which all other technologies are built, making them a critical asset in the tech race. The US has long been a leader in semiconductor design and manufacturing. American companies have pioneered many of the advancements in this field, and the country has been home to some of the world's most advanced semiconductor fabs. However, China is rapidly catching up. With massive investments and a focus on self-sufficiency, China is building its semiconductor industry at an unprecedented pace. The goal is to reduce reliance on foreign technology and become a global leader in semiconductor manufacturing. It is investing heavily in its domestic semiconductor industry. Billions of dollars are being poured into research, development, and the construction of new manufacturing facilities. This aggressive push is part of China's broader strategy to dominate the tech landscape. The US and China are also competing in the realm of social media and apps. These platforms are not just about connecting people, they are powerful tools for influence and data collection. The battle for dominance in this space is as much about control over information as it is about market share. Chinese tech giants like TikTok have gained massive popularity worldwide. With their innovative features and engaging content, these apps have attracted millions of users. However, their success has also brought scrutiny and concerns, particularly in the US. This has raised concerns in the US about data security and the potential for censorship. American officials worry that Chinese apps could be used to collect sensitive data on US citizens or to spread propaganda. These concerns have led to calls for stricter regulations and even bans on certain apps. The technological rivalry between the US and China is fierce. It spans multiple domains and has far-reaching implications. This competition is not just about who can create the best gadgets or the fastest networks. It's about who will set the standards and rules for the future of technology. It has implications for national security, economic competitiveness, and the future of innovation. The outcome of this tech race will shape the geopolitical landscape for decades to come, influencing everything from global trade to military strategy. As the US and China continue to push the boundaries of technology, the world watches closely, knowing that the stakes have never been higher. Section 4. Military muscle. The South China Sea and beyond. The South China Sea is a critical region where the military might of the world's two largest economies, the United States and China, is on full display. This area has become a focal point for their strategic and military ambitions, leading to a complex and often tense geopolitical landscape. The US and China are also engaged in a military competition. This competition is not just about who has the most advanced technology or the largest number of troops. It's about influence, power projection, and securing strategic advantages. Both nations regularly conduct military drills and exercises to showcase their capabilities and readiness. China has been rapidly modernizing its armed forces. Over the past few decades, it has invested heavily in new technologies, advanced weaponry, and comprehensive training programs for its soldiers. This modernization effort is part of China's broader strategy to become a dominant military power in the region and beyond. It has built up its Navy and Air Force. The Chinese Navy, now one of the largest in the world, boasts a fleet of modern warships, submarines, and aircraft carriers. Similarly, the Air Force has seen significant upgrades with the addition of advanced fighter jets and strategic bombers, enhancing China's ability to project power far from its shores. This has raised concerns in the US and other countries about China's growing military might. The rapid expansion and modernization of China's military have prompted the US and its allies to reassess their own defense strategies and increase their military presence in the Asia-Pacific region. One flashpoint in the military rivalry is the South China Sea. This body of water is not only rich in natural resources, but also a vital maritime route for global trade. Control over the South China Sea means control over one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, making it a highly strategic area for both economic and military reasons. China claims sovereignty over most of the South China Sea. These claims are based on historical maps and records, but they are disputed by several neighboring countries, including Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei. China's construction of artificial islands and military installations in the region has further escalated tensions. This has led to territorial disputes with neighboring countries. These disputes are not just about national pride. They involve significant economic interests, including fishing rights, oil and gas exploration, and control over strategic maritime routes. The international community has called for peaceful resolution through diplomatic means, but the situation remains volatile. The US has conducted freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea. These operations are intended to challenge China's expansive claims and ensure that international waters remain open to all. The US Navy regularly patrols the region, asserting the right to free passage and demonstrating its commitment to maintaining a rules-based international order. This is to challenge China's claims and assert its presence in the region. By conducting these operations, the US aims to reassure its allies and partners in the region that it will stand by them in the face of Chinese aggression. These actions, however, are often met with strong protests from Beijing, which views them as provocations. Beyond the South China Sea, the US and China are also competing for influence in other parts of the world. This global competition spans various regions, including Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. Both nations are seeking to expand their spheres of influence through economic investments, military partnerships, and diplomatic engagements. China is expanding its military presence in Africa and the Middle East. It has established military bases, increased its arms sales, and engaged in joint exercises with local forces. These efforts are part of China's broader strategy to secure its interests, protect its investments, and project its power on a global scale. This is part of its broader strategy to secure its interests and project its power globally. By establishing a military presence in key regions, China aims to protect its trade routes, ensure the security of its overseas investments, and enhance its ability to respond to international crises. The military rivalry between the US and China is a dangerous game. Both nations are heavily armed and possess significant military capabilities, including nuclear weapons. The risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation is ever present, making it crucial for both sides to engage in dialogue and establish mechanisms to manage tensions. It has the potential to escalate into conflict. The stakes are high, and the consequences of a military confrontation between the US and China would be catastrophic, not just for the two nations involved but for the entire world. Therefore, it is imperative that diplomatic efforts continue to prevent such an outcome and ensure a stable and peaceful international order. Section 5. The soft power play Hollywood versus Confucius. The rivalry between the US and China is not just about hard power, it's also about soft power. Soft power is the ability to influence others through culture, values, and ideas. The US has long been a soft power superpower. Hollywood movies, American music, and American brands are popular around the world. However, China is trying to catch up. China has been investing heavily in its own soft power initiatives. It has set up Confucius Institutes around the world. These institutes promote Chinese language and culture. China is also using its state-run media to spread its message internationally. The soft power rivalry between the US and China is a battle for hearts and minds. It's a battle to shape global perceptions and win over public opinion. Section 6. Allies and influence navigating the global chessboard. The US and China are not just competing with each other, they are also competing for influence within the international system. The US has a network of allies and partners around the world. These alliances were forged during the Cold War. They remain an important asset for the US. NATO, the transatlantic alliance, is a key pillar of US power. China, on the other hand, is trying to build its own network of relationships. It has strengthened ties with countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. China is also a member of BRICS. BRICS is a grouping of emerging economies that includes Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa. The competition for allies and influence is a complex game. It involves diplomacy, economics, and security considerations. The US and China are both trying to shape the international order to advance their interests.